All right, Nick, let's talk about the Colorado Buffs. The Buffs have got a lot of great stuff going. They have a lot of big time changes, and this year's team looks very, very special. But to build a successful organization, you can't focus on the right now. You also have to focus on the future. And the Buffs have had a lot of great additions this past week going towards the future of this program.
I agree with you 100%. Deion Sanders in Colorado in the recruiting game, in the adding players game. They are doing a phenomenal job of making sure this team will be good, not just for the short term, but for the long term. But before we get into that report, let's focus on 2023 for a second. It has been a great offseason for Colorado. But Buffs fans, I want you to answer this question in the comment section below. Outside of adding head coach Deion Sanders, what was the best move the Colorado Buffs made this offseason? A lot of different ways you can go from recruiting game, transfer game, maybe assistant coach edition, whatever it may be. Give us the best move the Colorado Buffs did this offseason, not counting hiring Coach Sanders, Coach Prime, and give us that move in the comment section below. Brett Mize, what you got? What's the latest out of Colorado?
Yeah, Nick, we all have seen the mastery Coach Prime does in the recruiting game, and that doesn't stop anymore, Nick. In the 2024 class, they have now added two more four-star recruits over the past weekend. Nick, I'm going to get into the story here over on The Athletic right now. It says Colorado coach Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Coach Prime, I don't know why they call him Deion Sanders, had a great weekend. His team added a pair of four-star recruits to his 2024 class who were on campus in Boulder this weekend. Receivers like Carl Lewis, a 5'10", 160-pound receiver from Tampa, Florida, and the nation's number 51 receiver committed to the Buffs on Sunday night. Less than 24 hours earlier, 6'4", 240-pound D lineman Brandon Davis Swain, a native of West Bloomfield, Michigan, and the nation's number 24 defensive lineman also pledged to Colorado. Notice, Nick, neither of these guys are from Colorado. I think that's very key to get into later. Colorado's 2024 recruiting class is now ranked 31 overall by 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings with 7 total commitments, Nick. I think they had 2 4-stars before this in the 2024 class, so that gets them up to 4 total. I really love what they're doing. I really love these guys so early on, Nick, and I'm briefly going to talk about them. But I think Carl Lewis, the first guy, he might be a little bit smaller. He might be a little bit on the lean side, but I think coming into this Colorado program, he has such great high-end speed, Nick. It is ridiculous how fast this kid is. He is a pro on the track field. You know, he ran the 4x100 meter relay. He's really, really great speed, and I think he can become a weapon for this college team, just like so many guys before him have. You look at the Zay Flowers of the world. You look at the Hollywood Browns of the world. This guy seems to be a slight but speedy receiver who I think can work in the slot or wherever they need him to be and just be an absolute weapon. Then, Nick, you get on over into a guy like Brandon Davis Swain, and this guy just is the exact opposite of this. He's a beast. He's got great size, 6'4", 240, very lean, a dominating defensive lineman. I think he's going to add a lot of, top tier level size to this Colorado defense. You got to build the trenches. If you're looking to make moves to the SEC or the Big Ten, you got to build up those offensive and defensive lines so you can compete with the big dogs, Nick. And I think a guy like Davis Swain really brings that to the table as well. I'm curious though, Nick, what do you think about these guys? What do you think about Coach Prime's move so far, and how is Colorado looking?
Yeah, so you know me, Miles. I try to focus at the high level because these recruits, these kids, they're just kids, right? We think they're going to be good players, and I really hope they will be. They've got a lot of physical gifts and tools, but we really never really know how they're going to pan out. A lot of things can change over the next coming months and frankly, years. But I want to focus on what Coach Prime and Colorado has done from a strategic perspective, because going into 2023, they were the shiny new toy. They were all over the news. Deion Sanders showing up to Colorado, a lot of transfers coming in, a lot of transfers going out, coaches calling out Deion Sanders responding. It was just a wild and crazy environment. Being able to garner commitments beyond 2023 and getting guys in the 2024 class, quality guys to commit and driving up the recruiting status for Colorado for the future, I think is a great sign. Because one of the concerns I had with Deion Sanders at Colorado was the sustainability. Was it just going to be a short-term fad, just a cool one-year thing, or was he going to be able to build a long-term program? Because the way you can have long-term success in college football, no one's ever been able to win except doing it this way, is to having a solid and steady, consistent recruiting pipeline. teams and programs have had great single seasons based on great transfers or great coach, or maybe they have one great recruit and he turns into a superstar and carries the team. But long-term sustained success over 3, 4, 5 years is about having a strong quality recruiting pipeline and getting guys from the 2024 class out in the out years, into the future, to commit now to quality guys, to 4-star guys like this. I think is a great sign for Sanders doing just that. And I also want to focus on, you kind of alluded to this point in your opening there, Mize, that these guys are not local guys. These are not Colorado guys. These are national recruits that Deion Sanders was able to win. So if you focus first on Davis Swain here, I'm going to give you some of the other offers he had. He had Michigan, Notre Dame, Auburn, Ball State were the top guys listed according to 24/7 Sports. Again, those were, Colorado goes into Michigan, gets this guy. Obviously, Michigan, Notre Dame, much closer to where Davis Swain lives. He lives pretty much just right outside Detroit. Get him to commit. That's a huge win for them, going to someone else's backyard and getting a top flight recruit. That speaks to Deion Sanders' Deion Sanders and Colorado's long-term recruiting ability. You talk about the wide receiver, Lewis. He obviously is in the state of Florida. You look at the other offers he had: Georgia, Florida State, Florida, Auburn. Local guys, great programs, SEC talent. Nope. Coach Prime in Colorado are able to get him over to Boulder. This is exactly the long-term formula that Deion Sanders and Colorado are going to have to follow. They're going to have to build a solid and consistent recruiting pipeline. And because of the big name that Deion Sanders obviously has and all the potential that comes with it, they're going to have to be treated as if they're a national program. And with that comes a lot of pressure. But the fact that Deion Sanders is, and the Colorado coaching staff, let's give them some credit too. I know Sanders drives a lot of it, but this coaching staff, the assistant coaches for Colorado, have done a great job in the recruiting game. The fact they're able to go into a state like Michigan and get a kid who has offers from Michigan and Notre Dame to commit to Colorado, massive win. How about going to the state of Florida, a kid, a great athlete, 4-star receiver who has offers from Florida State, Florida, Georgia, and Auburn, and they're able to get him to commit to Colorado, another massive win. I think this is a great sign for the long-term longevity of what Coach Sanders is doing. Coach Prime, there I go again, I keep screwing it up, is going to bring to the Colorado Buffs. I think this is a great sign if you're a Buffs fan.